what you're doing is unique, at least in this area, maybe even regionally or nationally. Right. And once those kids hit that live button and start broadcasting, they're going to attract some attention on what they're doing.
He's starting up with us next week.
Good. Yeah. We've been,
good stuff.
He's been talking about that for at least 2 years now. Yeah.
He's a good guy.
He is. He's a local boy done good.
Yep.
So
did you hit it?
I did.
Oh, I didn't see it.
The eyeball is up, but there's no one watching yet. So
that's because I'm not on yet.
Yeah, we'll just do our normal shtick until people start tuning in. But we're live we're live on YouTube at Porchcast Pottstown. And we're live on Facebook, Matt Greenick Locker Real Estate.
Got it.
I have the overlay up so people can try to find us if they want. As soon as you share it, you usually get people to start watching us pretty good.
I'll share.
And I'm going to share it too. Thanks for tuning in. As you're tuning in, let us know that you are watching. And you can do that by going into the chat and comment function and saying hello. You can hit that like or heart button.
I'll share it on our high school page.
Yes, please do.
It's at Matt Green at Glover Real Estate is the Facebook page.
Thanks for tuning in. We have like 9 people watching. See,
all right,
the second you start sharing it, and that's
it's all me, right?
That's what I always tell people. If you can share a cat video, you can share Porchcast Pottstown. Don't tell me you don't know how to share Porchcast Pottstown when I go to your page and see it loaded with cat videos.
It's just one video. It's just one button that you got to hit. One button is all it takes. So welcome back, Matt, after your big sea adventure.
Yes.
I had fun watching your pictures. For those of you that don't know, Matt recently took a cross Florida canal boat trip with Vance Chaffee.
Yeah. The two of us took his boat from Englewood, Florida to Fort Pierce, Florida. So we went from the Gulf of Mexico to basically the Atlantic.
Yeah.
It was
a lot of work.
It was a lot of work. Sure. I mean, I wasn't just like sitting around sipping cocktails on the deck.
Casting a fishing rod and drinking beers.
I did do a little bit of fishing, but it was hard to fish from the boat because we were underway for the entire day.
You were moving.
All daylight hours we were moving because we had to catch our flights. So it was interesting. I'm glad that I got invited.
Well, just going through locks is an interesting engineering.
Yeah.
To watch that engineering.
It was. And the one lock lifted us up 13 feet. So we gained 13 feet in elevation. And it was just interesting to watch the lock operate.
How long is that lock that elevated you 13 feet?
It was about maybe as long as a football field, probably a little bit shorter, probably closer to soccer field length, like 80 yards. And it was probably about...
Thank you, because I would not have known the difference.
Soccer fields are slightly shorter than a football field.
By 20 yards.
About. So it was probably about 80
yards. That's that forecast map that we like to do here, Dr. D.
And about 40 yards wide.
Okay.
Roughly 30 yards, 40 yards wide, and about 80 yards long.
And just one boat in there at a time?
It depends on how big the boats are.
Okay.
If there was enough room, the most we went into the lock was with 4 boats. But for instance, there was one time when there was a big commercial barge tug that went into the lock. He was in there all by himself because he took up almost the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have to call ahead and let them know that you're right?
Yeah,
right.
So,
because you can't just have like 15 boats show up and be like, "Hey, we want to go down the lock." They got to
So locks are on channel 9. So you turn your radio to channel 9 and then you hail the lock.
Right.
Like if the
and
lock,
how far in advance? You'd be like, we'll be there around. Okay. Yeah. I thought maybe you'd be like, we're going to be there around 1:00 or like.
Sometimes of the year,
make a reservation. Right.
Sometimes of the year, depending on what they're doing and the maintenance schedule, you do have to call ahead. But on the days and times that we were there, as you approached, we would get on the radio and then hail the lock. You know what the name of the lock is because it's on the little chart.
Right.
So let's just say, I think one of the names was Amelia Lock. You call Amelia Lock, Amelia Lock, Amelia Lock. And then you say the name of your boat. Our boat was Summertime. Amelia Lock, Amelia Lock, Amelia Lock. This
you
is
know what would be
summertime.
great if the lock was called Beetlejuice and you had said it 3 times.
Beetlejuice.
And then Beetlejuice appeared.
And then they would call you back and say, and you would tell them we're going eastbound or we're going westbound.
Right. Okay. Well, I didn't know if you had to like book it in advance because you didn't want to like have a big backlog of.
Sometimes of the year they do.
Right.
But when we were there, it was just as you approached.
Yeah.
And then they would tell you, they would give you direction over the radio. Like, we're going to take the first 3 boats, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it was fun to watch your pictures of the process.
I was really lucky. I got some really good pictures. Like, I was even impressed with the quality of the pictures. That I took. I'm like, wow, who did that? Oh, that was me.
Right.
But it was fun.
Good.
So let's talk to our guest.
Yes. Hello. We have a guest.
Hi.
This is our usual MO, is we just like chit chat away while people are tuning in, and then we introduce our guest. Vance says that you were a great first mate, and my mother is saying hello. Hi, Mom.
Vance and I got along really, really good. We didn't have any personality conflicts and everything. And I will say this: like, we had a couple of moments where it was a little bit stressful and rushed, and Vance starts barking orders, but that's his job. It's his boat.
It's his boat, captain. And exactly.
And it was funny
because you gotta get a job done.
After one particularly stressful incident, Vance apologized, and I'm like, dude, I didn't even notice.
Right.
I'm like, we had to get it done, and you were giving orders.
Yeah. And you're not fragile.
That's what I said. I said, this is a person who's spent a long time taking orders.
Exactly.
And I was married.
And and you had a job to get done.
Yes.
So, very interesting. So anyway, Dr. D, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
And so tell me your last name. I just have been calling you Dr. D.
D. Annabelle. It's like the creepy doll Annabelle with D in front.
With a D in front. All right. So Dr. D. Annabelle is the new-ish principal at the Pottstown High School. Been there since October.
Yeah.
And we're eager to hear about the things that are happening over there at the high school. So Dr. D comes to us from
the West Shore School District.
The West Shore School District, which is on the west shore of the Susquehanna in the Harrisburg
area. In the Harrisburg area.
Yes.
Yep.
But has family here and decided to move to Pottstown, and there just happened to be an opening.
Yeah. My wife grew up here in Pottstown, and my in-laws.
Near to the high school, you said?
My in-laws still live about a block from the high school.
So your wife is a Pottstown High School alum?
She went to Pius.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We Lions, baby.
All right, but she is OG. She's from Pottstown.
She is from Pottstown.
Okay.
Her older brother went to Pottstown High School.
Okay.
And then she and her next brother went to Pius. And some of her cousins went to Pottstown High School and everything. And so, we're happy to be back in the area. We haven't lived super close to family. So it was time to be near family. So we can't get any closer though. We're literally in the basement. We are in the in-laws basement, which is great.
Are your kids in Pottstown schools?
Yeah, they go to Franklin. So Amelia's in kindergarten and Gio is in 3rd grade at Franklin.
Right. Great.
My kids went to Franklin, and we had a great elementary school experience at Franklin. I mean, Adam, my youngest son, started his music career at Franklin and now plays 4 instruments.
Did he start with that horrible recorder that my son brought home this year too?
They all did. And then he moved on to the trumpet.
Oh, good.
And then moved on to another instrument and another instrument and another
instrument. So there's light at the end of this recorder tunnel.
Yes.
There is.
Yes.
Okay, there is.
Yeah, it's like if we never have to hear hot cross buns ever again, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, my son went to Barth, and we had an equally exceptional experience at Barth, and that's where Harrison started his musical career as well.
Very cool. Yeah, we've loved Franklin so far. So Miss Kramer does a great job over there.
And you said you're right near the high school, so they walk to school?
My wife drives them when it's raining, but they're spoiled in the rain. But when it's nice out, they can walk. And when it's nice out, I walk to the high school too, which is really nice. So
very, very nice on your gas tank.
Yeah, I think I fill up my gas tank every 2 months or so.
Love it.
So
that's fantastic.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
So I think before the show, and like this is kind of what I want to get into. I kind of want to start chewing it in, or chewing into it. We've had like a lot of guests from the school district on the show, and actually our assistant co-host when Amy is not available for hosting duties. Matt Moyer steps in. We've had Matt Moyer on the show, John Armato, Stephen Rodriguez, Dr. Hector Wangia. So you join a long list of distinguished guests from the school district. And I think and
we had school board. We had Laura Johnson.
We had Laura Johnson from the school board on. We had Heather Moyer Daly, who talked about things that were going on in the after school program. So we spent a lot of time over the course of time talking about the school district.
Talking about the schools and talking up the schools.
Talking up the schools.
And, of course, supporting our friends at the Foundation for Pottstown Education and the good work that they do. So we
best way to sell real estate, too.
It is.
Yeah.
So
and schools are vital.
Might only be like,
schools are vital
semi-self-serving.
No, it is. Like the whole, I think, and the same reason, Amy, that you started getting into doing your podcasts, which we merged with my videos. We put your podcast in my video, is because we wanted to promote the town and we wanted to give people a more positive view of what was going on.
There was a lot of stuff floating around about the negativity of surrounding Pottstown, and we wanted people searching. Like if somebody's looking to move here, what are they going to find? We don't want them to find this, crime in Pottstown and negative stuff. We want them to find positive content in that.
I tell people all the time that, living in the town and being the principal in the high school, it feels self-serving to help to make the school the best it can possibly be. But the reality is, this is my community, and I want it to be the best it can be. I want businesses to move into town. I want people's housing to improve. I want employment opportunities, and having a good quality school district is a huge part of community development in general. So it's a big part of living in the town that you work in is helping that community be the best it can.
And we don't see a lot.
We need more of that.
We don't see. So in the old days, people would live, police officers and teachers would live and work in the same community. And I understand why people might not like that, right?
Sure.
Like why a police officer might not like to live in the town that he or she works in. But
I did it.
I know you did. It's just uncommon.
It wasn't.
Because people don't like to see, you don't want to run into somebody that you arrested when you're out having dinner.
That's true.
Right.
And that did happen. But I never had terrible negative experience with it.
Right.
In fact, sometimes it was quite the opposite. I have had people that I arrested come up and literally thank me.
Right. Thank you for arresting me.
Yeah, it changed my life.
Right. Good.
Right. Or it had some other, it stopped them from doing something that had been negative in their life. Right. Even if that was just for a short time.
Right.
I've had people thank me.
Yeah.
So, I agree with Amy. We need more of that mentality, and we need more people who are leaders in the community to live in the community. And right now, we just don't have a lot of that. And I agree with you too that could really change the face of what's going on in our schools. So, I wanted to really kind of chew into some of the things that you've put in place, even in the short time that you're there, to overcome some of these challenges. Everybody knows, and you can go back, for instance, you look at the Pottstown History Collective and the work that Todd Bainbridge is doing over there, our history liaison. He has articles about bad behavior from kids in Pottstown going back to the 1870s, right? So this is not new under the sun.
And it's certainly not specific to Pottstown.
Correct.
By a long shot.
But everybody kind of knows the troubles that we've experienced here in Pottstown. Truancy problems, behavior problems after school, behavior problems out in public or during sporting events and things of this nature. So we're not going to be Pollyanna. As much as we want to be positive on the show, we're not going to be Pollyanna. So we know everyone's well aware of the problems that exist within Pottstown School District. I'd like for you to tell the listeners about the program that you've put in place to help overcome some of these issues, especially the truancy issue.
Yeah. So we looked, after about 3 weeks on the job, it's pretty clear what the issues in the school were, which is truancy. The number one way to improve truancy is to attack the reason why people don't come to school. People don't go to school because it's boring and because it's negative. And that's just across the country. I mean, you look at the research on truancy, and it is the number one response you get from high school dropouts and from truant kids is it's really boring. And so we want to do the work of making high school really fun. It should be 4 years of really hard work, but 4 years of a lot of fun too. We've brought back having dances. We had our first evening dance since before COVID last week. We had around 150 students come out. We had the DJ, the party was crazy. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of staff come around and dancing with the kids. It was just a blast. It was what high school is supposed to be like.
And let's not forget that there's going to be some contingents of the watchers that are saying, well, all the kids want to do is just dance and goof off, right?
Yeah.
But think about that. That's 150 kids that we know are in a safe place. And weren't out on the street causing some kind of havoc or chaos, right?
Yep.
They might have been causing havoc and chaos in the school, but that's where they belong.
But they weren't, they weren't sitting at home streaming, Netflix and sitting on their phone. They were out doing something
I had a
social.
kid come to me and say, I was just going to play 2K all night. And then my brother said, why don't we go to the dance?
Right.
And he said, I'm really glad that I came.
Aw, that's so sweet.
I'm really glad. We have students who have never experienced that before
and
because
also,
of
I think
COVID.
that our kids, not just because of COVID, but because we'd have this, that they're really struggling with social interaction and how to look somebody in the eye and to talk to somebody without the aid of a phone or some electronics. So something as old-fashioned or simple as a dance really can help in ways that go so far beyond just having a fun dance.
It felt really good.
Right.
And that's what school is supposed to be about. And so, there's the puff part of it, of having a high school dance and having that joy to, bring it into the students and everything. But there's also the real hard work of, we look at, after just 3 weeks of being there, it was kids were skipping class and being late. And when we have fights, the fights are students who are skipping class.
Or lingering too long in the hallway or restroom.
Right. They're in places they're not supposed to be. And that's where the fights take place. And so we got very strategic with how we're going to address that. And so I got a group of students together, a wide range of students, from your straight A students who are getting a scholarship into college, to the athletes who are super popular in the school, to the girl who has the biggest Instagram following you could imagine. Wide range of people. We call them the Student Advisory Council. And I brought them these problems of, hey, our data is showing kids are skipping class, they're lingering in the hallways, they're late. We also haven't had a lot of fun. School pride wasn't very high. People weren't participating in things like dances or after school activities or showing up to football games. I brought these problems to the students and I said, hey, I want you guys to help me solve this. And what we came away with after a few meetings was a program that we call the Pride Program, positively recognizing individuals demonstrating excellence. And the idea from the students was, if we positively recognize the people who are doing the right thing, who are making the right choice, who are showing school pride, and we apply positive peer pressure, and we apply some positive rewards for doing that, it's going to bring some other people along as well. Right. And so students get a pride ticket for being on time to class, for participating in school spirit days, for wearing Pottstown gear on Fridays, and for going to our home sporting events. But they don't get the ticket until after halftime. I'm sorry. Right. They've got to be there for the whole game. Right. And my kids go and hand out the tickets, and the kids all think it's super cute that my little ones are doing that.
So the tickets are just little paper tickets that they can then collect.
Yeah, it's a little ticket. They put their name on it, and they turn it in during lunch into 3 boxes. They can put it in the weekly box, the monthly box, or the quarterly box. And every week, 20 kids get their ticket pulled out, and they get $5 Dr. D's dollars at the school store that they can spend however they want at the school store.
Or whatever.
Most of them want candy or snacks, whatever, the hot Cheetos or whatever.
Takis or whatever.
And then it gets dumped out and restarted every week. And I've been amazed at how every week the box is full. You know, I mean, kids are doing the right thing.
Right.
The monthly box, 10 people.
So they can choose not to put anything in the,
right.
So 20 kids a week from the weekly box.
Right.
And then the monthly box is
10 people get a $50 gift card to whatever they want.
Like a Visa gift card or something?
It's got to be, we're not doing Visa. It's got to be to a store or a restaurant.
Oh, okay, got it. So they tell you, I want Applebee's or
we really
whatever.
like it to be a local place.
Right.
We get a lot of, hey, we want an Amazon gift card, you know, things like that. So we let them choose what they want. They get $50 towards that. And then if they put it in the quarterly box, that's for the grand prize.
Right.
So 5 students at the end of the marking period got selected to go to the outlets with me and Mrs. Leibold, one of our school counselors, and we got them lunch, and then they got to spend $150 on a pair of shoes.
Wow.
Which for high schoolers
is a big deal.
Sneakers are everything.
Right. So I have zero idea how much a pair of sneakers, like, can you get like a pretty good pair of sneakers?
They were very happy. They left very happy.
Okay.
Yeah, they look very happy. And we, I mean, you walk through the hallways now compared to when I first started in October, and it's great.
Right.
I mean, we just had a new science teacher start last week, and he goes, no one's in the hallways.
Wow.
Everyone's in class.
Yeah.
He said, this is so much better than my last school. I won't name the school.
Love it.
And it was just really great to hear. Right. It was really great to hear that.
So at the end of a quarter, a kid could have accumulated a decent number of slips, right? What do you call them? Pride ticket, but a decent number of tickets. So they could stuff all those tickets in that quarterly box.
Yep.
Stack it up.
They could.
To increase their odds.
Interestingly, one of our Pride ticket winners for the quarter only earned 1 ticket.
Oh.
He's a kid who doesn't always go to class and doesn't always do the right thing. But one day he did.
One day he did.
One day he did the right thing, and he got the ticket, and and he got randomly chosen out of the box. And he shared with me, maybe I'll start doing it more often.
Right.
You know, and that's the idea. Is if we can catch them doing the right thing.
Hey, this feels pretty good.
Recognize them, build them up. Right. Then we're going to see more positive in the future.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That is great.
So we've had some people come onto the show. We've also had some people come in and come out. I just want to reiterate that we're talking to Dr. Christian D'Annibal, who is the principal at Pottstown Senior High School. And he's talking to us about some of the innovative programs that he's brought into the school since he's been the high school principal starting in October?
Yep.
So brand new principal is really bringing some creative thought outside of the box thinking into the school to solve some long time problems, not just at Pottstown, but in high school in general. Sure. Listen, I went to Pius. I graduated from Pius, just like your wife and her family. And, that was a Catholic school where everybody has this idea that we're all running around there with halos over our heads and the nuns are keeping us in line.
No, you were getting smacked with rulers, right?
Guess what? Kids would leave school when they weren't supposed to. Kids would hang out in the hall too much. Sure. We had kids that got caught smoking cigarettes in the bathroom, amongst other things, or out in the parking lot. And, this is going back. I'm out of high school now, 31 years. So these aren't new problems. Right. But I think what I appreciate about what you have to say is you're bringing some new perspective and some new energy and some creative thought outside the box thinking, which is what we need.
Yeah,
it's what we need.
And engaging the kids, your student advisory board,
student advisory council,
to help solve their own issues.
Yeah, we want to create a democratic space. Mm-hmm. We want to create an environment where the students are in charge of their student body. It is ultimately their school. Mm-hmm. It's their 4 years of high school. We're just there to kind of steward.
Right.
And steer the ship a little bit. And
you want them to have that experience. Like you said, high school should be fun. It's not, of course, it's not going to all be fun, but
and I also
look back on it. Like I look back on my 4 years in high school and have a lot of really good memories of fun times.
Well, I also think the days when kids would do something because an adult just told them to, I think those days have been gone for a very long time.
Yeah, we did. And it was just, I have to go to school because I have to. You just do.
Yeah, I think in today's world there is an incentive for things today, and so we have to get with the times a little bit. In education, we can really get stuck in the mud, and then you're just spinning your wheels. And we have to try some outside the box thinking. We have to try something new. We have to give the students the voice in what needs to be done, because listen, 99% of our students want a really positive learning environment, where they can listen to their teachers, collaborate with each other, work on really fun projects, get some authentic learning experiences, whether it's through CT or other places. They want to do a really good job and have a great school. They want to show the Boyertowns and the O&Js and the Pottsgroves that this image of Pottstown High School is not what it really is.
Right.
They want to tell that story as much as I want to tell that story. And so they're going to apply that positive peer pressure to the kids who do need to get in line and do need to clean things up a little bit. And they're doing a better job of it than us adults ever could.
Great.
I think along those lines, it just made me think of the story and something that I witnessed over the 2 incidences that I witnessed over this past year. And it's sports related, which I think is a very important part of school. And scholarship is also learn sports because it builds teamwork and resilience and other things. So I'm a big proponent of sports and sports activities, and also because I'm a huge jock. But my son Adam played on the soccer team, and we went to the tournament, the Antietam tournament. And there was a group of boys who were over by the snack bar at the home field at Antietam High School. And they were interacting with the parents who were running the snack bar. And they were eating their lunch. After they were done eating their lunch, they walked away. And one of the parents said to me, "Are you a parent? Are you a Pottstown parent?" And I said, "Yeah." And she was like, I'm really impressed with the way the Pottstown High School soccer players have conducted themselves today. They were polite. They had a good attitude. We could joke around with them. We could talk to them. She's like, you guys they're really nice kids. And that made me proud,
really
because
nice
that
to
completely
hear.
changes the stereotype, not just of the kids in Pottstown, but all of us in Pottstown from time to time get accused of being all kinds of things. And here was some of our high school kids, freshmen through seniors, making this impression on this parent. And then another story that came too, which I thought spoke a lot to the resilience of the grittiness, which I like about Pottstown and Pottstown people, was I can't remember what school it was, but Pottstown Soccer is not any sort of powerhouse. Sure. Although they did have a first team goalie.
They did.
They had a first team goalie. Yep. But we were getting destroyed, and I don't remember who it was. And I heard some of the kids on the other team say, "You know what? These Pottstown kids," I'm getting choked up. "They don't quit. Yeah. They don't quit. They kept playing through the whole game. Even there was no hope that they could even come back. Right. But they played from the beginning of that game to the end of that game. And it was the other kids from this other team that were recognizing that.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I think when I first got hired, it was the end of August when I was board approved. And then in Pennsylvania, you get held in your previous district for 60 days. Okay. So I couldn't start until October. Okay. But in the in-between, we came back here to visit quite a lot, get our living situation figured out, visit with family. I came back to do some teacher interviews, our assistant principal interview, things like that. Every time I'd come back to the community, I'd be, talking to someone from Boyertown or Pottsgrove or Springford or wherever, and I'd let them know that I was approved as the new principal of Pottstown High School. And I'm telling you, every one of them would say, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Right.
What? Or you have a lot of work to do. And since starting, I have seen some of those same people again. Yeah. And I made sure to tell them, I have not had a bad day yet.
Right.
I have not met a single kid in our school who I don't like. Like it is just not the place that other communities think it is. It is a wonderful school.
People would say to you, oh, I'm so sorry. Why do you say that? Why do you say that? What is it? What is it? What is making you say, "Oh, I'm so sorry that you're going to Pottstown"?
I think
because that makes me like,
I think they hear a lot of fights. I think they think I think they think it's the Wild West and that it's all fighting and I don't know. I don't even know. They couldn't tell me why. And I didn't ask because I had not experienced it yet either. Those are probably the same people that
are afraid to come to Pottstown. Right. They won't go to a show at Steel River, or they won't, go downtown to a restaurant because, it's Pottstown. Right. Like, it's so dangerous.
The reality is, I'm telling you, it's been since October. I have not had a bad day in Pottstown High School yet. We've had fights or we've had different behavior things that have to happen.
In that same period of time, so did the principal at Boyertown. So did the principal at Pottstown. Yep. So did the principal at O&J. Yep. They've all had to deal with
school.
The principal at Pope John Paul is dealing with the same stuff that you're dealing with, and those kids and their families pay thousands of dollars to go there. I guarantee you the headmaster at the Hill School this year has had to deal with a fight or two or a dust up or something went wrong. So come on, folks.
So we are, another thing that came out of our student advisory council was the students' voice of, we have to tell our story out on social media. Yeah. I do the weekly update video on our Facebook and Twitter profiles.
I've watched it.
The student advisory council started a Pride Instagram page where there, the videos from the dance are out there and the Spirit Day participation and the ticket winners, and they're reposting it and sharing it all over, and really, to be honest, our Pottstown High School students and teachers and me, we really don't care what all those other people think, right? Because we know we have pride in ourselves and we're proud of what we do. But we do still recognize that we need to tell that story. We need to let people know the good things that are happening. I think we had 8 students leave our gym on Instant Decision Day with full scholarships to college.
Yeah. My son Adam has been he's got a really good, he's got some work to do to finish up his applications, but he has a couple of pretty amazing scholarship opportunities to good, solid schools.
Yeah. We have students going to Ivy League schools.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And I think there's people outside of this community who would have never thought.
No, they would never. And we've talked about this in the last 4 years. There was 2 kids that went to Stanford on full rides. Stanford.
Yeah. That's big.
It's big.
That's big.
Yeah. But on the other hand, we also have, and I think that Instant Decision Day, I'd never been to one before. I'd never even heard of that happening in a high school, which what a great experience. And Miss Pritt does a great job of organizing that. I think that was the most emotional day I've had as a principal. Right. In any school that I've worked in, because I saw students be the first person in their family accepted into a college. Right. And, as a parent, we all want for our children to have things a little bit better than we did. Right. We know we're not raising the next millionaire, but I want my kids to have things a little bit better than I had. Same as, you guys, we all want that for our kids. And to see people, get that opportunity to go to college for the first time in their family. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. It was the best day I've ever had.
So in that situation, so colleges come and the kids, what do they have to present? What do they have to put down in front of
they bring their transcript. They bring their transcript and they sit down with the admissions officer and they get a decision on the spot.
Right. And that's a really big deal for a kid to we were talking about having conversations, adult conversations and looking people in the eye. They got to sit down with that admissions counselor, talk to them.
It's different than applying through the computer.
Yeah. I'm nervous. I'm thinking about that. I'm nervous. That must make them so nervous to go in. It is.
And we see kids walk in with their transcript and they're very timid and they don't know where to go. And what's great is all the counselors are there and Miss Pritt's there. She's our career counselor. And all of us administrators. And we just pump the kids up and boost them up enough to have the courage to go somewhere. And the best way to build their courage is to say, hey, Johnny just got accepted to East Stroudsburg. Right. And because he had a 3.8, he got a full scholarship. Let's get over there. Right. And we drop them off, and it just takes one for them to get out of their shell and be excited about that opportunity. And not all of them are going to college. Some of them, I mean, all the military branches are there. Many of our students, especially in our CTE programs, they don't want to go to a four-year college. They want to go to a trade school or a tech school. And
we talk about that a lot. We talk about the CTE a lot in the show.
So it's there for the kids who want to go to college, who want to have that door open to them. But then we also have every opportunity in the world for every other kind of kid. I mean, that was the CTE programs. I'd never seen that in a high school.
So let's take a break and just welcome people into the show, because I see the numbers going up and down, and I can tell that we've been gaining some new watchers. This is Dr. D. He is the principal at Pottstown Senior High. He's letting us know what is happening in our schools. Especially, I almost said suspended. That's what happened to me when I was in high school. He's letting us know specifically what's happening at the senior high school. Remember to hit the like and share button. Remember to comment on the show. The more of that activity that we have going on, the more people will hear about all the great programs that Dr. D is in charge of over at the high school. So I did want to segue into the CTE. So let's get back into the conversation. Sure. And first of all, explain to people what the CTE program is and why it is so unique here in Pottstown.
Yeah, so it's career and tech education. And in most school districts, including all the districts from where I'm from originally, you go to school and then you get on a bus and they drive you sometimes up to an hour away for you to go to a CTE facility and be able to learn. We have it.
This is formerly what we used to call VOTEC.
It used to be called VOTEC, yes. So we have a construction program. We have cosmetology. We have engineering. I mean, those guys are currently prototyping a new invention of theirs where they have taken a walking cane and made it mimic the motion of a foot in a shoe to try to make walking feel more natural for someone who's using a cane. They're actually going to have one of our teachers who walks with a cane use it and give feedback. We have automotive. Culinary. We have culinary. They do the catering for almost every event we have. They also do a restaurant on Thursdays and Fridays for the staff and for anyone else who wants to come in and buy a meal. Our automotive tech. I mean, Pottstown, if you need your oil changed and you want it the cheapest possible, you come to Pottstown High School. You do have to pay. The students run it like a business. They do oil, they do tires, they'll do pretty much anything.
How does somebody, is there like a number, or like they can make a online, like how do they get their car in there
on
for
me,
oil?
I don't know actually.
We will report back on
Email
that.
Terry Ballard at Ballard.
Let's see. Yeah.
I put up all kinds of links so that people could find what's going on in the school district. So after the show, or for those that are tech savvy enough, just go back through the comments and I put up all kinds of links.
Right.
But if somebody does want to get some work done, because I've done it, really all they have to do is call the front desk at the high school and tell them, and then they'll patch you through to Mr. Hewitt, who's the shop teacher.
Yeah, but sorry, didn't mean to throw you off there.
That's okay, and I should know that.
That's okay.
It is the most authentic learning experiences you can have, though. I mean, they are actually doing the job.
And I want to say, Kathleen Bortz is saying the students do a great job, great detailing job on the car.
Yeah, they were detailing cars over there too. And I again, just to brag a little bit too, because we have to. It's our school. We need to brag it up. The automotive program has some technology inside of that shop that other professional repair shops in this area don't have. They have a state-of-the-art alignment machine that the repair shop that you take your car to probably doesn't have.
Right.
But the kids at the high school do. So what does that mean, Matt? Well, why should we care? That means that a kid that graduates from the automotive program already has training on a piece of equipment that his new boss, when he gets hired, probably doesn't have the same training.
Right.
This is advanced training for the workplace.
Our entrepreneurship program has the most up-to-date 3D printer you could imagine.
Okay.
And they have engraving equipment that most shops don't have. They are putting on their own sales. We actually had customers from as far away as Oregon ordering things from Pottstown High School's entrepreneurship program. Wow. The marketing program runs the school store, and then they also do marketing for the other programs and such. It has blown me away at how authentic the learning is.
We are getting a question here from Ray Amori. Can we improve the tech school by adding an electrical and plumbing program?
That is right now. The construction program hits on those skills, but we don't have a specific program.
Right. So the construction program will kind of have each little discipline, touch on each discipline, but there's not a specific plumbing or specific electric.
Right. Gotcha. So the construction program is kind of geared towards, a little bit of everything. Every CTE program has to decide what they're going to offer. Right. Right now we have construction, but there are other programs that we can always look into adding. Some that we'd have the facilities for, some that we don't. What's really incredible about our CTE program is it's almost entirely grant funded. So it's not a program that we're even getting from the tax base. It is almost entirely grant funded. And through grants alone, we have top-notch facilities, top-notch equipment, and incredible instruction that's happening. I mean, we have students who are getting job offers from the power plant company from right out of high school. Yeah.
My son Patrick, who graduated in 2021, was recruited for jobs in industry from the automotive program before he graduated. So there are local factories, local industrial companies that are coming into the high school to recruit kids out of that program because they know the quality of the instruction that they're getting in there.
Right. So the local workforce is aware of the quality of our program and the kids that are coming out of it.
The other thing that I would say too to Ray Amori is that I know a couple of years ago, and this was the case, some clients of mine, the folks from Find Solutions Properties who own a residential rehabilitation company, teamed up with the CTE and two of the kids who teamed up with Find Solutions Properties, one of them was interested in becoming an electrician. The other one was interested in becoming a plumber. So what happened was Find Solutions Properties teamed those two kids up with their plumber and their electrician who came in during the course of the rehab and got hands-on training in those two fields with a master plumber and a master electrician. So Ray, maybe you should contact CTE and get a kid to come work for you.
See what you can get going.
I mean, it is so much about the pipeline from the school to employment. We want every student to be either enrolled in college, enlisted in the military, or employed coming out of the high school. I mean, part of the CTE is even a little bit self-serving for schools. We have a teacher shortage in America and specifically here in Pennsylvania.
We sure do.
Well, we have an early childhood education program where we have students who are getting experience working with kids who are going to then go into the major of education and then hopefully apply to work at Pottstown.
Didn't you just hire a kid from the CTE program who got a job with the maintenance department in the school district?
That's even a better story. That is a student who was a part of our life skills program. Okay. And chose to work with the custodians for an internship during their senior year. And did such a great job that the guys decided to bring him on. So he's working right now after school in the high school. And I'm pretty sure that right when he graduates in May, he's going to be moved to full time.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah, so
love it.
Joe Rusevich, who's the director of the Foundation for Pottstown Education, which has made a lot of this stuff that we've talked about happen. And Judy Green is watching. Judy Green's been heavily involved in education and also with the Foundation for Pottstown Education. But Joe Rusevich is talking about the Spectra visualization table for health technology.
Oh, yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
It is so cool. And my sister's in the health field, and she did not have this in college.
Okay.
Essentially, it's a table that, and I don't go too close to it because I'm afraid I'll break it.
Okay.
And I don't want to be responsible for that.
You break it, you bought it.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, you have a cadaver on this table, but virtually. You can peel back layers of skin. You can peel back layers of muscle. You can get to every single layer of the human body, all visually. And it's the size of a real medical table and a real body. And it's essentially you are working with a human body, but without us actually having a human body. Right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I'm going to Google it right now.
Yeah, it's the health tech program is phenomenal. We have kids who are interested in a career and are getting directly into that, and that doesn't happen in a lot of places. And I mean, maybe a side positive of it is in this society now where everything is instant gratification, everything is I think we've gotten away from everyone gets a trophy. I think we've gotten away from that.
I think we've learned our lesson.
But we're still, kind of dealing with the after effects of that.
Right.
CTE is competitive. There's only so many seats in these programs, and so students have to apply and be accepted into the level 2 and 3.
Right.
Anyone can take level 1.
Right.
But to be in level 2 or 3, they have to apply and be accepted, which means they have to have good attendance. They have to put in the work. They have to show that grit. It's very much just like it's authentic learning. Yeah. It's authentic to the work environment.
Authentic workplace. Sure.
That's what they're going to have to face when they go out into the world.
Not everybody gets the job. Right. Not everybody gets the job they want, maybe.
Right. Maybe they have to do a stepping stone. They don't get the job that they want, but maybe they have to step up there.
I mean,
it's something in between.
When I was a middle school principal, and this sounds terrible to say, but one of my favorite days was when they would have a select choir ensemble, because some kids get into the select choir ensemble and some kids don't. Right. And it was sometimes for middle schoolers back where I used to work, that was sometimes the first time they were told no. Right. And it was really powerful to work with them in helping them learn how to be told no and where to go from there.
Yeah, be resilient, to be resilient.
And to grow, and to, the cliche story of Michael Jordan getting cut from his freshman basketball team. Well, that did really happen, you know? And that's not fiction, you know? So,
Harrison auditioned for jazz band when he was in 6th grade, and he didn't make it. I mean, he was crushed. Right. And so he decided the next year he wanted to try out again. And I was so proud that he even wanted to try out. Yeah. And he worked really, really hard.
That's really cool.
And he got in. And it was a major part of his middle school career was it was just a really important part of when he was at the middle school.
That's cool.
And let's not sleep on the fact that he went to the Hill School that does not have the same type of opportunities that Pottstown High School kids have.
Well, they don't
have a marching band.
No, they don't. He was really bummed about that.
Right.
That because marching band at Pottstown was a really big deal.
And, what's so great about marching band? One of the other strategies we came up with to keep kids from skipping class is we pump our Pottstown High School marching band music into the bathrooms so that kids can't sit in the bathrooms all day making TikToks. And it has been fantastic.
Wow.
I get to hear marching band music all day, which is amazing. And kids who want to skip class, they don't want to hear the marching band music, so they go to class.
That's really interesting. So that was identified as like a place where kids were hanging out making TikTok videos.
Yep.
That's
so
really
again,
interesting.
Rather than going in there and yelling at people, let's get creative. Let's find some other ways to get kids out of the bathroom and into class. Now, we do need to switch it up, so I might need to take some requests for other music to blast out.
What did they use to blast out?
I might have to do some Frank Sinatra.
What they used to blast out Noriega in the 90s?
Van Halen. Van Halen and stuff at very, very high decibels.
We don't
now
keep
I'm
it
definitely
too loud,
showing my age, right? So Peggy Lizardi is watching. Thank you, Peggy. I think you're a new watcher to the show. She says maybe it would be a good idea to research grants for HVAC specifically. So another discipline.
Terry Baller is the best CTE director in the world. We are very fortunate to have her, and I can definitely pass that on to her.
Right.
So I just want to recap some of this stuff because we are coming down towards the end of the show, and we do have some news and some updates that we need to get done. But let's just recap about what we learned about the high school, right? We have a new principal who has done some work along with the students in order to come up with some outside of the box ideas.
Programs that seem to be very successful so far.
Successful programs, some of which do not exist in other school districts. We have talked about the CTE program. Again, a program that is unique to Pottstown schools, which contains some technology and some learning opportunities that Dr. D's not going to brag, but I'm going to brag. Guess who doesn't have a Spectra visualization table? Owen J. Roberts doesn't.
Take that, Fivers.
Take that. Springford doesn't have that.
Right.
Guess who doesn't have state-of-the-art an inspection machine or a state-of-the-art alignment machine? Owen J. Roberts doesn't have that. Pottstown does. Right.
On site. Yeah.
Guess what school district has an award-winning music program? Pottstown School District does. The Hill School doesn't have a marching band, but Pottstown High School does. Yep. So these are all the things that we should be talking about. Just to go back to the beginning of the conversation with Dr. D, I'm telling you from a real estate perspective, all of this great stuff that we talked about is not included in that school score that Zillow gives you.
Right.
All of these great and unique learning opportunities, state-of-the-art equipment, everything else, that's not reflected in the Zillow score.
So if you're just looking at that, number of or percentage of kids that go to college,
right? If
you're just looking at that or whatever that ridiculous Zillow score is, it is not by a long shot giving you the full picture of what's happening in Pottstown.
What's happening in schools. No, it's not taking into effect the fact that we've sent 2 kids to Stanford on full rides.
Yeah. Or kids walking into the gym and getting a full scholarship to a state school, Susquehanna or
East
Stroudsburg or whatever. So,
So I just want to reiterate to people, these are the things that we should be talking about. And when somebody says, "Oh, I'm sorry that your kid goes to Pottstown," your response should be, "Well, does your school have the Spectra visualization table?"
I'm sorry that your kid goes to Springford.
Yeah, I'm really bummed out that your kid at O&J can't learn on state-of-the-art Tesla equipment.
Sorry that your kid has to, spend an hour on the bus going to the Western Center.
Yeah, that's too bad.
That's too bad.
I don't have the exact statistics, but if you were to ask me how many discipline referrals we have every day, I mean, it's low enough that we are able to address them same day.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that I'm telling you, I've been a principal and assistant principal in 2 other schools before this, and that wasn't happening.
Right.
We do have a small portion of our population who are skipping class and who are getting into fights and who are doing things they shouldn't do. Right. But that's everywhere.
Yeah.
What we also
there's a small portion of society that does not operate according to the standard.
Right.
But we also have really awesome teaching and learning happening in our classrooms.
Yeah.
We have fun in the hallways. We have pep rallies that are enjoyable. We have sports teams that are successful, whether in the win column or in the grit column.
Yeah.
They're successful.
And they're even even that said, Pottstown, and this is just the sport I know about. Other people can chime in if they know something that's happening in other sports. But on that soccer team, even though those guys didn't win a single game this year, you had the number 1 goalie in the Pac-10 was a Pottstown Trojan. You had a midfielder and a forward who was on the second level, the second tier team. Freddie Rodriguez, who's also a midfielder and attack forward, was on the all area academic team. So even though those guys did not win a single game, they had 3 soccer players from that team who were ranked in the top of all soccer players for the Pac-10.
Right.
Yeah,
Come on.
Reminds me of when I was in high school, my track team probably won 2 meets a year.
Okay.
But I still ended up
being what, sixth
in Division II for college, you know?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, you don't need to win to be successful.
Right.
You can still be very successful just with, we have kids who come out for sports their first year in senior year. They've never played sports before. That's a win. Because that's a kid who's getting involved in school and having fun with their peers and having good stories to tell their kids, 20 years later.
Right. I love it. So Barb Schuick is saying, I went to Pottstown and was in the VOTEC program and loved it. Excellent.
Good.
Love that.
Thanks for everybody who tuned in tonight
for tuning in.
and putting your comments up and asking your questions. The show does not work without the interaction from the watchers, from our Porchtonians. I just also, while we're bragging, I want to thank the Porchtonians for their past donations to the Pottstown Foundation for Education. If you remember correctly, Porchcast Pottstown and our Porchtonians raised over, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of $9,000.
Was that much? I thought it was like 3 or 4,
or maybe 3 or 4.
Oh, enough to get the floor done.
Enough to get the floor done, and have a little bit extra.
Left over. Right.
Those thousands. Let's just say it that way. Those thousands of dollars were raised by people who watch Porchcast Pottstown.
Pretty
so
proud
thank you for supporting Pottstown education.
Yes.
Let's switch into news.
All right.
Updates.
Yeah. So speaking of the foundation, they have their musical. Oh, Joe, what are we calling it now? Something for the arts. No, not the gala. Something for the arts, Joe. What is it? It's the. See if I can find it. It's March 5th. Let's see. It is March 5th, and it's their musical. Yeah.
What are they putting on this year?
So it is High School Musical.
And it's called the Celebration of the Arts.
Celebration of the Arts. Thank you. I knew it was something arts. So
yeah, Joe just threw that up there too. Yeah. Celebration of the Arts.
Thank you. Celebration of the Arts, and thank you. Judy's also chiming in with that. So that is on March. Dang it.
You just said it, March 5th.
Yes. And the kids do a really great job with the musicals.
We're doing High School Musical.
Yeah, fun.
It's the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th, and there is a sensory-friendly showing as well.
Yep, I know they've done that the last few
which
years.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
And our 2 leads, another example of people showing grit and trying new things. Both leads have never been in a musical before.
Wow.
And they decided to take a risk.
And they tried out and they got the leads. Oh, that's great.
They're doing a fantastic job. So we're excited.
Excellent. So you can get tickets for that. They are also still seeking sponsors. So check that out. Joe, I just did my sponsorship today. So, and we'll see you at the show, if not before that.
Right on.
In my backyard. I see Joe in the alley. My house backs up to the school district building. So, okay, news. We have a few things here. Sunday, January 29th, tie-dye class at Gypsy Dreaming and Counting Stars, which is on High Street near Cole's Tobacco. Cool little arts. They've got artsy stuff in there, and they're doing a make and take tie-dye class. That is Sunday from 12 to 3.
It's between Coles and Delia and Dean's.
Yes. Soup Bowl fundraiser sold out. That's this weekend on Saturday. So good for them at Art Fusion. Art Fusion has all their spring classes up on their site. So check that out. They got a lot of good stuff going on. As always, Diamond Credit Union is doing a food drive to benefit the Pottstown cluster. So drop off items at the Pottstown branch. Diamond Credit Union is at the end of Medical Drive. They're on the right, and they are collecting canned and non-perishable food items now through January 31st. I don't know what Bluey is. You have a little kid.
Oh, yes.
You have little kids.
Bluey is the best television show
really? Are you being
on the entire planet. No,
it's good.
It is so fantastic.
Okay, good. So there's Bluey and Bingo Sweetheart Dance on Saturday, February 11th from 1 to 3, $20 per child. So Sweetheart Dance, come out and enjoy dancing and photo ops with some of your favorite characters.
And where's that?
That is at Soul Joel's at Sunnybrook. Soul Joel's at Sunnybrook. So that is Saturday.
Can 11th. I see that?
My daughter's past her bedtime right now. She might be asking for a ticket to that.
Yeah.
So I think this might be, it's Birthday Buddies.
I don't know what that is. But...
They do these characters, and
okay.
they do characters and supply parents with an opportunity to make their kids' birthday wishes come true.
Gotcha.
So you could have Bluey or Spider-Man or Superman or Princess whoever come to the party. Jen Seville, who's our social media coordinator at Glocker, also her side hustle is working for Birthday Buddies.
Okay.
So I just wanted to bring that full circle. That's
Thank
our
you.
1 degree of separation to that event.
Right. It is 1 degree. Let's see. Thursday, March 9th. I don't usually go this far out with my events, but this is a Veterans Island comedy fundraiser at Soul Joel's. And we love the Veterans Island at Memorial Park, so we'd like to support them from 7 to 8:30 on Thursday, March 9th. A Veterans Island Project comedy fundraiser.
So Chief Warrant Officer retired Mike Murphy has fallen off the airways. I have not had any reporting or updating from him.
I hope he's okay.
I think he's on vacation in Florida.
Good. Okay, good for him.
He's taking full advantage
hope you're
of it.
okay, Murph.
I have not heard anything from our veteran liaison.
All right. Hopefully he's doing okay.
On a deep reconnaissance mission.
Okay. Sweetheart Saturday at the Carousel. This is February 18th. Cocktails, dinner, basket raffles, carousel, derby, horse race. And that is at the Carousel from 6 to 10 on February 18th. Sweetheart Saturday. So if you didn't do anything for Valentine's Day, you can still make up for it by doing that on the 18th. This is also at the Carousel. This is the Pottstown High School Trojan Derby, February 11th. Do you know about that?
I'm sure I do.
Okay. Not to put you on the spot. Come join us for a night of excitement at the Trojan Derby. Support Pottstown High School football team. We'll take your chances winning at one of 10 races. So that is February 11th at 7 p.m. at the Carousel. Pottstown High School Trojan Derby. Vision Board Workshop, January 31st at the Pottstown Regional Public Library. This is Denise Williams with Be Resilient. And join us at the Pottstown Library for a Vision Board Workshop. That's where you put a bunch of stuff on a board to manifest your dreams.
Yeah.
Right?
Whiteboarding your destiny.
Yes, exactly. So you cut it out of a magazine, you stick it on a board, and then it becomes true. Then it becomes real.
I think it's like the first step in making it come true.
Yes,
you know
it says visualizing.
Like,
yes, I get it.
Work.
Then you have to look at it and you'd be like, I better do something about this, or otherwise I'm going to be really embarrassed of myself. So, yeah.
That's a good beginning of the year kind of activity, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And don't forget that the Pottstown Library has so many
things
that
we couldn't even go over them all. Our friend Josh is still doing his writer's workshop every other Wednesday.
Correct.
At the library, and just all sorts of stuff going on. Stuff for kids, stuff for seniors.
Everything.
It is
and all
your
the services
library,
that
folks.
they provide. Like if you need to get your passport, the library can help
where you do it.
If you want to try to apply for a job, the library can help you.
If you don't have a computer at home, you can use a computer there.
Here's another thing that the library does, and I had totally forgotten about
that
this.
They loan out books?
Well, yeah, they do that too. Right. They loan out video games and movies too.
Oh, right.
But also in addition to that, like Gypsy Chris is studying for her real estate exam.
Oh, great.
She's at the end of her class and now has to take a proctored exam. You can go to the library and have them proctor your exam.
Interesting.
I totally had forgotten about that. But that's when I got my real estate license. Now it's the proctored exam for your class, not for your license, but for your class.
For the class.
So it's
like a notary.
Correct.
Like they're certifying that you were there, you took it, you didn't cheat, and it was in the right time frame and all of that. Interesting.
Yeah. So they helped me out getting my real estate license at the Pottstown Library. So another service, another great service.
I'm a big fan of public libraries myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to start going to the library because what I'm spending on Kindle books is like, I think maybe I should just start checking some stuff.
The audiobook collection is usually very good too.
Yeah.
And the video game collection is way better than you might think it is.
Interesting. All right. Shout out for the library.
I'm a bit of a gamer.
Hey, why don't we have somebody from the library?
We should.
I think that I'm friends with the library director on Facebook. I'm going to reach out to her.
You're going to do that?
I am.
All right.
Don't let me forget.
Here's one of the pieces of news that is kind of sad, but we need to address it. Yeah. And I'm going to put his obituary up in the comments. A friend of mine, Robert Redinger, passed away. He actually died while I was away on Florida. And what was particularly shocking to me is I had seen him the day before. I zoomed into our meeting for the Pottstown Cluster Religious Communities, and there was Bob at the conference table getting ready to start up the meeting, fire up the meeting. I saw him. Right. And I had been exchanging some messages with him and talking to him in person because he just retired from Key Bank and was going to move into a position as the executive director at Pottstown Works, which is a job training program at the Salvation Army. Right. And I pledged to him my support because it's something that I feel really strongly about is job training. And I said to him, when you get it up and running, please call on me. I want to help you.
Shocking. I know, it was really shocking.
Literally the next day, I get an email that Bob passed away.
Right.
I knew him from the Ricketts Center. He was on the advisory board at the Ricketts Center. He was on the board of directors for the Pottstown Cluster Religious Communities. Just read his resume.
It was a very
obituary, which
long
is a
list
resume, I guess.
of civic engagement.
For a very long time. One of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet.
Nice,
super smart, super thoughtful, and had been a contributor to Porchcast Pottstown and a watcher of Porchcast Pottstown. I would regularly hear from Bob about something that he saw on Porchcast and was congratulating us for bringing out that news. Right. Gave us a lot of compliments on our Beacon of Life show. Or Beacon of Hope.
Yeah. And Bob was on the board, I think, of
he was on the board of Beacon of Hope as well.
Yep.
Just an all around good guy.
A tremendous loss for the community.
It's big shoes to fill.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. So hopefully somebody within the sound of my voice can step up to the plate and help us fill Bob's shoes.
Yep.
But I wanted to kind of memorialize Bob a little bit here on Porchcast Pottstown because he was everything that Porchtonians are. Engaged citizens who contribute to society.
Generous.
Yes.
Generous and kind. Yeah.
He will be missed.
Yep. Rest in peace, Bob.
Here's the other update that I have as far as my activities with the Pottstown Cluster of Religious Communities.
Yeah, you've been getting a lot of engagement, haven't you?
Yeah, we're up to 22 volunteers for my resource team and trash team.
That's fantastic.
We're going to be participating with the community meal program to help bring resources to people's attention so that we can help them get the help that they need, help them get the help that they need.
Help them help themselves.
Help them help themselves. Right. And then the trash team is going to do exactly what it sounds like. We're going to help clean up trash around the neighborhoods that the community meals occur in. We also are working on a project to try to start cleaning up some of the abandoned homeless campings down along the river. We have one woman by the name of Heidi Evans.
I've been seeing her post. She's really just
fired up and doing a great job.
Yeah.
She's on the trash team.
Right.
She's one of the people.
I saw just today she posted that she had picked up an abandoned site.
She's getting it done.
I took a walk this morning and went down College Drive. It is an absolute nightmare.
It is.
It is a nightmare of trash all over the place.
So we're
blowing all around.
We're going to try to start working on some of that stuff. Susie Marcucci Kennedy is helping us out. Heidi Evans, who we just mentioned, is helping us out. There's some other people who watch Porchcast who are not necessarily interact with us all the time, but a lot of people did let us know that we watch Porchcast. Great. So we're up to 22 volunteers. Our first working session for the trash team and the community resource team is going to be February 6th at 11 o'clock at Christ Episcopal Church. The address there is 316 East High Street. The trash team is going to be outside conducting a cleanup in the 300 block of High Street. People that are interested in joining the resource team will be inside getting their introduction to the resource team and welcoming guests into the community meal and talking to not just the guests, but also the volunteers who put together the community meal to find out what help and what resources we can get them plugged into. If you want to participate in any of those things, or if you want to donate to us, because we are going to need a little bit of money to do some of the things that we're trying to do, please hit me up, Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate, or you can always find us at pottstownreports@gmail.com. Questions, comments, and critique. Or if you would like to get involved with the resource team or trash team, hit me up either at Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate or pottstownreports@gmail.com. Pottstown Reports is the, what do you call it? Program is the thing that we have with Eye on Pottstown.
Repository of
yes. Pottstown,
collaboration.
There you go. Good word. Yeah. Pottstown Reports is the collaboration that we have developed with the folks from Eye on Pottstown. If there is something that you want us to talk about here on Porchcast, if you have a comment, a question, a critique of the show, or something that you want to dive into that affects the borough of Pottstown, please hit us up on pottstownreports@gmail.com. And we are doing that in cooperation with the folks at Eye on Pottstown and Mr. Evan Brandt from the Pottstown Mercury.
All right. Break it down. He is Matt Green. He is your local real estate expert. If you need help buying or selling real estate in Pottstown and the surrounding area, give him a call, Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate.
I can help principals that are living in their in-laws' basement find a home.
Yes.
I'm also aware of several programs that would help an individual like that with closing costs and down payment assistance.
Yeah.
So if you just happen to be a principal living in your parents' basement, call me up. I can help you find a house.
I am Amy Wolf. I am the office manager of Wolf Baldwin and Associates, where we are celebrating our 50th anniversary this year.
Congratulations.
Yes. A major milestone of bringing you fine legal representation in the borough of Pottstown and the surrounding area for 50 years. And thank you to Dr. D for being our guest and for telling us about all of the great stuff going on at Pottstown High School. And hopefully all of those kids graduate and stay close to home and are able to get jobs here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely have a radiator program over there. Somebody that could work on radiators. We need that in Pottstown.
Oh, yes. Steam heat.
Steam heat radiators. For sure. So we are Porchcast. Let's talk soon.
That's right.
Did I do it okay?
Yeah, you did it great.
Right. Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all.